Okay, the number one question you probably have is, when is this crash going to take effect so I can finally buy a house cheaper than what it is today? Well, I have some maybe good news for you and maybe some not good news for you, but it depends on what situation you're in. So let's first off think of, if you're looking to buy a house, there's two segments of this market you're looking at. You can build that dream house of yours and you can pick all the details and just have it perfectly the way you want it. Or you can buy an existing home and maybe it doesn't like, you don't like all the pieces of it, but maybe you can always do repairs to it or upgrades to it or renovations to it to make it exactly what you want. I've always said on my channel that I don't like building a house because I don't like the uncertainty. In today's market, there's more uncertainties than ever. Okay, so we just had headlines here. It says home builders sentiment just pulled back or plummeted. I'll put it that way. So a lot of people call me daily. And here's the question that I normally get. Dan, I'm building a house and it's not going to be ready until July 2023. Where are mortgage rates going to be? And I usually come back saying, I have no idea. Okay, and I truly don't. Well, based on that and other pieces of the contracts that people do when they're building a house, it's starting to scare the bejesus out of everybody. And let me explain. If you've ever tried to look at building your own home, here's how the contracts read in today's market. Well, first, if you've been blessed enough to be able to picked out of the lottery to be able to bid on a house, God bless you. Okay, but the next piece of the puzzle is the contract. So let me just summarize the contract in most cases that I see. So I'm just trying to prep you before you go look to build a home. This is probably what you're going to see. And if you've already started that process, please put in the description down below your story. It could be a fantastic story or it could be a horror story. But here's how it normally reads. Mr. and Mrs. Home Builder, we're going to build your house and it could take us up to 2 years to build this house. The next thing is, if supply prices go up, we can pass that along to you. And then once we are done with your house, you got to close immediately. Okay, so the flaws in that system are this. Are the prices going to go up? You don't know. Lumber prices were recently at $1,300. Now they're $600. Could they go back up to $1,300 and double the cost of a lot of your building materials? That's one. Okay. The next piece of this puzzle, where mortgage rates are going to be, a year and a half from now. Don't know. So a lot of people are starting to pull out of building homes, even ones that are almost at the end of that journey, because when they first started, they had a rate quote at 2.99%. And now they're rate 6%, driving up their mortgage payment maybe $500, $600, $700, $800 a month. Okay, but here's some light at the end of the tunnel. So let's get over, this is the builders part of this. Their sentiment in their sphere is plummeting. But some good news coming out right now is house inventory just jumped 30%, okay, year over year. On the surface, that sounds fantastic. But if you dig into it a little bit more, you're going to see this. Inventory is still historically low. Compared to the same week in 2021, inventory is up 30.3%. That's fantastic. But if you go back to 2020, inventory is down 21%. If you go back even further, inventory is almost down 50%. But let's dissect this to just give you some context. The inventory is coming back. So maybe not today is a great time to buy, but just think of it. Is that much inventory is coming on the market right now? And this isn't the prime time actually for people to put their houses on the market. Usually that's March and April. So a lot of the houses are coming on the market now. Why? Okay, you're starting to get FOMO on the other side of the equation. You're having people looking to sell their homes saying, you know what? I'll sell now at the peak, especially a lot of baby boomers. I don't really care what my mortgage rate is because I'm making so much money on the house that I own now. I'm either going to pay cash for my next house or finance a fraction of what my current mortgage payment is now. Okay, so they're not worried about where mortgage rates are going because their mortgage is going to be substantially lower. So where does this help you? Well, it's getting more and more products in the market. Okay, that's one for existing homes. On the other side of the spectrum, you're going to have a lot of home building homes or new construction homes that you're going to be able to pick from, because they're having thousands and thousands and thousands of people pulling out of that market, and that's why you see home building sentiment just plummeting, because they don't know what to do next. They're no longer in the catbird seat. So now you're in the position now where you can go and negotiate with the builders and get more aggressive terms. Or if you want to buy a pre-existing house, you have more houses on the market, thus you have less competition, thus you don't have to pay over the price that the house should be priced at. So that's what my conclusion is. Is there going to be a housing crash? I don't see it, but check in your local area. So if you're looking to build or buy an existing home, check with a realtor. Here's why. What I'd ask you to do is find a great realtor in your area. We would love to help you with that search, because we have hundreds of realtors all over the country. But I want you to ask them this piece of the puzzle. First, how much inventory is there? How much inventory? Do you have a normal inventory? Do you have low inventory? Or do you have excess inventory? Here's why I asked that. Is because if you get to a point where they have excess inventory, now you're in the catbird seat. You have the negotiation powers on your side. Okay, that's the one piece of the puzzle. The next piece of the puzzle I want you to ask is, how many days on the market is your realtor seeing on average? So as that days on market gets longer and longer and longer, you're going to have the seller of that property, again, FOMOing that they're not going to get peak price. So you might be able to negotiate a better price at that time, so they can get the amount of money they're kind of looking for, and you can now get a house priced in the range that you're looking for as well. So that's the news for today in regards to housing. Why I think there's not going to be a housing crash in most of the country. Some areas are going to have a dramatic pullback that saw 50 and 60 and 80% appreciation in the last 2 years. But on the norm, as long as the supply demand stays in getting back to more supply and equilibrium of the supply demand, you're going to get back to a little bit of equilibrium. Now, if more and more houses keep coming to market, and on the home building side, you have supply chains open wide up and supply just dumping on the markets, and you have excess housing, you might have some issues. But as we see in this chart right here, the housing inventory is still almost 50% lower than where we were 3 years ago. So I don't see a crash, but I'm saying sit tight, or maybe dip your toe in the water now to try to find that dream home. So my name is Dan Frio. I'm a mortgage advisor. I can help you anywhere in the whole country. I am federally chartered. If you need my services to get you pre-approved or just talk about numbers, we'd love to help you. How you do that? Go to my website. It is therateupdate.com. Here it is. And you can get us many ways. Up at the top, there's our phone number. There's a click there. You can schedule a meeting, and we even have a chat button now. If you have any questions live, I'd love to be able to answer those for you. So thanks for watching. I hope you might get a little more understanding of the market, because my goal is to make sure you're educated and informed everything real estate. God bless, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.